You ever look back on a single moment in your life and think, yeah, that was the second everything went off the rails? For me, it was the night I sat on a concrete bunk in a death row cell, with execution set for midnight, staring through bulletproof glass at the only friend I had left in the world, a German shepherd named Titan, pacing outside in the darkness. Wearing his battered old K9 vest like a badge of hope, guards clustered by the gate, and I could see one of them, a big guy, white, with a buzz cut, raise his rifle and squint, like he was itching for an excuse. And I just pressed the intercom, heart pounding so loud I could barely hear myself. Please don't shoot my dog. He's the only one who knows the truth. Yeah, that really happened. Let me back up a sec, because nobody wakes up thinking they'll end their career in a prison jumpsuit, watching the clock tick down to lethal injection. But that's exactly where being Westwood's first black female detective in major crimes landed me, and not because I did the job wrong, but because I did it right, and I didn't know how to quit. You want to hear about glass ceilings? I got thrown through a couple. Academy was a masterclass, and you only got here because they needed diversity even after I graduated top of the class. 12 years of microaggressions, guys making cracks about whether I could handle a perp, colleagues forgetting to invite me to after-work drinks, ugly notes shoved in my locker. You get used to it, but not really. You know what I mean? Every file misplaced, every sideways comment, every accidental slight. You can either let it wear you down or let your record do the talking. 3 commendations for bravery. Best closure rate in the department. I thought that would be enough to keep me safe. But nothing kept me going like Titan. He's more than a partner. Hell, he's more loyal than half the people I ever met. I found him on a bust, half-starved and trembling behind a dumpster, and I just couldn't leave him. The K9 trainer said he'd never be fit for duty, but what did they know? Titan learned fast, trusted deep. He'd pick out a suspect before I'd even notice the vibe shift. Slept by my bed. Joined me on my morning runs. Only time I ever felt like someone had my back, it was him. Then came the Harrington case, the one that ruined everything. Maxwell Harrington, rich real estate mogul, shot dead in his penthouse, no sign of forced entry. He was the commissioner's brother-in-law, so you better believe the brass wanted this tied up with a bow. I got to the scene at dawn, Titan sniffing around, already uneasy. The victim's computer was still warm, files being deleted after his time of death, stuff didn't add up. I'm photographing a weird partial footprint, and here comes Captain Sullivan, face tight. He pulls me aside, says, "You're off this case." Claims there's a conflict of interest because of my history with the victim's company, which, let me be clear, I didn't have. Not that he'd listen. Go home. That's an order. So I left, Titan looking over his shoulder like he understood we were being set up. That night, I'm home, poring over my notes, feeling that itch in the back of my neck, like the truth's trying to tap me on the shoulder. I text Marcus Rivera, my old partner, asking if he's heard anything. That's when Titan's hackles go up, and there's this low, rumbling growl. Boom, the door bursts open, and suddenly I'm on my floor, face smashed into the drywall, a dozen cops screaming, guns drawn, as if I'm some kind of monster. All I see is Titan lunge at them, and get cracked across the head and dragged away, muzzled and yelping. "Zoe Calloway, you're under arrest for the murder of Maxwell Harrington," says Sullivan, and he cuffs me so hard my wrists go numb. Leans in, whispers, "Should have known your place," and then snaps back into captain mode when the cameras roll. That's the thing. These guys, they've got 2 faces. One for the world, and one just for you. They treated Titan like a threat, not a partner. One officer, big bald dude with a Confederate flag tattoo, actually said, "Better put it down for officer safety." I begged, "He's a trained K9, he's not aggressive." They didn't care. "Get it out of here," Sullivan barked, and the way he said it stung. Like we were both less than human. In the station, they paraded out their evidence. My service weapon was the murder gun, they claimed, except it was missing. My DNA under Harrington's fingernails. Text messages between me and the victim, full of arguments and race-baiting language, even though I'd never met the man. "These are fabricated," I said. But Reynolds, the detective now in charge, just smirked. That's what they all say. The setup was airtight, too airtight. Someone with power wanted me erased. Meanwhile, Titan's locked up at animal control, file marked for euthanasia, 48 hours, aggressive behavior. Not standard procedure. The next day, my court-appointed lawyer arrives, hungover and scared, tells me to plead guilty or face the needle. "The DA's got backing," he mutters. "No one will touch your case." And I'm thinking, who the hell did I piss off? In the county jail, they dumped me in gin pop, unprotected, even though I was a cop. Guards called me cop killer and let inmates at me. I survived an attack in the showers thanks to some old defensive training, but I took a bad cut to the shoulder before the guards happened to show up. Later, lying in the infirmary, I realized this was bigger than just me. I wasn't the first to be framed. I wouldn't be the last. Twist number 1, Jason Morris, animal control guy, big heart, soft spot for animals nobody wants. He's cleaning out Titan's kennel and finds a USB drive hidden in the vest. Protocol says call the cops, but he can't shake the feeling something's off. This dog, scheduled for execution with no judge's order, is calm, smart, not a bit aggressive. He sneaks Titan out, fakes the paperwork, and takes him home. I mean, that's real risk for a dog he's never met. Next morning, Titan tugs Jason down the block to an old apartment where Eleanor, my former neighbor, opens the door and nearly cries seeing him. She tells Jason she saw men ransacking my house before the official search, plainclothes guys, moving like they belonged. She took photos. Timestamped proof of evidence planting. Elsewhere, Lucia Reyes, rookie officer and fan of mine from years back, is watching Sullivan and Palmer freak out about Titan's disappearance. She overhears, if Calloway's dog isn't found, this all unravels. Lucia connects with Jason and Eleanor. They go off-grid. Marcus, now in cybercrime, decrypts the USB. It's my months of digging property records, financial trails, all pointing to a conspiracy to drive black families out of Westwood for luxury developments, using fake charges, rigged loans, and dirty cops, including Sullivan, Palmer, and half the city council. Titan leads them straight to a warehouse full of surveillance gear and maps targeting every black-owned home in the city. Back in prison, I meet Vanessa Douglas, civil rights attorney turned inmate. She's pieced together similar stories framed for opposing redevelopment. With help from Vanessa, Eleanor, Marcus, and Lucia, the pieces start coming together. The kicker? The so-called Ascension Foundation sits at the top of this pyramid, a secret society of rich, white power brokers, hell-bent on restoring the city to what they think it should be. Palmer, my commissioner, is at the center. As my trial approaches, they push things into overdrive, rigged jury, suppressed evidence, my own lawyer all but working for the prosecution. The DA paints me as a race-obsessed cop who snapped. I try to speak out, get held in contempt, but a few jurors start to wonder. Titan, meanwhile, keeps evading the manhunt, outsmarting drones, cops, and animal control. That dog knows things, I swear. The final showdown? The Foundation holds a gala, plotting their next move simultaneously. My team breaks into Sullivan's hunting cabin, finds the murder weapon, plus a full playbook on how to frame me. Titan delivers the evidence to Michael Chin, an honest lawyer. Lucia, having quit the force, hacks into evidence storage and finds original footage. Sullivan at the crime scene at the time of death, not me. The bombshell hits the media just as the DA pushes for my execution. With the city in chaos, Titan sneaks into the prison. How? I'll never understand. Drops the evidence into the warden's office through a vent and triggers enough alarms to force a pause in the process. Media are watching. Federal marshals show up with a stay order. Sullivan, Palmer, the DA, all try to push it through anyway, but for once, people in the room refuse to go along. This isn't right, they say, and for the first time, procedure breaks in my favor. As I lie there, strapped to the gurney, I hear the news. Execution suspended. Evidence exposed. Titan is safe. The Foundation finally facing justice. It takes 6 months for the dust to settle, but I'm exonerated, 37 officials indicted, the whole city reckoning with how close they came to burying the truth forever. But here's the last twist. Titan, who saved my life and the lives of so many others, turns out to be even more extraordinary than anyone knew. He was part of a quiet experimental program, enhancing canine intelligence for special operations, his instincts, his memory, his loyalty, off the charts. Maybe it was the science, maybe just the bond we built, but that dog never gave up, never let the darkness swallow us. And me? I didn't take the money. I started the Justice Preservation Foundation to fight for every person still buried in the system, every family on the edge of being erased. Titan's my partner, still by my side, and together we walk back into every fight the powerful think they've already won. So, let me ask you, have you ever seen someone get railroaded because they wouldn't keep their head down? Ever feel that sick, burning anger watching someone abuse their power? Or maybe you've stood up, even when you were outnumbered, and changed just one mind. Drop your story in the comments. Was justice served? Or is the system still rigged? If Zoe and Titan's story hit you, like it hit me living it, hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to know truth can win, even when it seems impossible. And don't forget, real justice only happens when we refuse to look away, when we keep fighting, and when we tell the stories that the powerful wish we'd forget.